the performance of the team, and you look at us on defense where we created 6 turnovers, and then our kicking game, Emilio was 5 of 5. And then even on offense, we weren't in sync in the very beginning, but we were able to get back on track. And we still have a ways to go. We have to continue to get better and make sure that we improve. And it's going to be a really good matchup for us this week going to East Carolina. We know we're going to get their best. They had a big win over Connecticut. And we're just looking forward to the matchup and very excited about it.
Where your defense played in the first half, sometimes there's going to be a drop-off, but they came right back out. Were you impressed by that?
Really was. And what I told our defense is when you play with passion and it's about disruption and we can get to the quarterback, I think we went in that game where the quarterback had no turnovers, no interceptions, and that was a challenge for our defensive backs to go in and get us some interceptions. But just to see, you're right. Usually you play a good first half, and then you come back second half. It's like you're sleepwalking, and it wasn't no sleepwalking for them. They bounced back the second half and played very well.
Nice to see the defense finally getting some of the attention that they deserve. Obviously, there was so much talk about the offense coming into the season, but they played so well.
Well, the talk was just because of the way we played last year, and the offense. When you have Quentin coming back, but you lost 2 really good players in Rodney and Max, so you lost some offense there. But the defense, they know that it was more about them wanting to send a message because of the way they played last season, and it was more like the offense carried them and they didn't do their part. But just to watch the way they're playing right now, and you have to play with a chip on your shoulders, especially on defense. You have to have an edge to you, and we have that edge.
What does that East Carolina offense do to challenge you guys defensively?
Well, just looking at it, they do kind of like our offense. They get the ball outside on the perimeter, have a really an outstanding receiver, had over 200 yards receiving, and then the quarterback, he has a little run game to him. So we're just going to have to make sure that we get aligned properly and get our feet in the ground and not give up the big play, because they do have a run and pass option where, quarterback could come down the line, and if the receiver's open, he's going to dump the ball out there to him, so we can't lose eyes on our coverage.
A couple injured guys. Give us an update on D'Angelo, Antoine, Tyree McCants. Nailman had his left foot wrapped up. What's their status for Saturday?
They all practiced today, and at the end we took them out, but they're going to be fine. Those 3 guys, because Emilio kicked. We had our kicking period with the field goals he kicked, and McCants practiced, and then D'Lo ran around a little, but he was able to do some things. We just got to make sure that he can put his foot in the ground and plant, and where he can change direction. That's his biggest thing right now. Kirsten Johnson, well, we are waiting to get the results back. Really don't have them yet, and he took a hit in the chest, so we're just trying to see exactly where we are once we get the MRI back.
D'Lo's a pretty good force on offense. Did you notice his absence?
Yeah, the thing, D'Lo, what he's really done is he's gotten better, and he's made himself become a really good football player by the work that he's put into it. And with the ball in his hands, he's always been a guy that had a lot of speed, but we're just trying to take him and say, how can we use his speed to not only to our advantage, but also to help him and where we can develop him. And Coach Williams and Coach Burke have done a great job of developing him. And, the thing we still need to work on him is just his pass catching skills. It's just, all about hand placement. But he is exciting, and he's a guy that he can stretch a defense, because the speed he has, he can get on top of defensive backs and run past them.
Coach, is your mindset, is it hard to not get caught up in the polls? You guys keep climbing up, we got to win by X amount, we're in the AAC. How much of that does that play in?
I never talk to them about the polls, and I never say anything about it. The only thing I talk to them about, I say, guys, it's really hard to get to the top, but it's very easy to fall. So it's really hard to get there. And it's hard, guys, and you got to work, and it's about your focus and preparation, all about working to get to the top. But it's very easy to fall. So we don't talk about the polls or where we are. Listen, it's East Carolina this week. Let's go out. Let's go play a good football game, and let's make sure that which each phase that we get better. So I stay away from it because I just don't want them to get caught up in it because really it's nothing you can do about it, and we just got to continue to play and then at the end of the season just see exactly where we are.
McCants and Dearness are both getting about 100 yards a game. Do you have some kind of rotation, or is it just feel for when you insert them in and out?
No, it's kind of like, Sean coaches the running back, so he sits there, Coach King, and he kind of watches. And the thing about those two guys, they have such a great relationship with one another that it's not like, when a guy comes in, hey, one of those, like, stay out, I'm going to stay in. It's usually you see that when guys like, no. But whomever's in, when the next guy comes in, and we try to rotate them by series and, hey, Tice, you up this series. But you're seeing two guys that are competing there because if you watch one get a big run and then it's like the next time the next guy comes in, he wants to get a big run. And they're running through they're running through defenders, which they're punishing defenders, which you like to see with the running back. And it's good to see them get the 100 yards that they got also this past week.
You mentioned that steady progression to get to the top. Have you been happy and pleased with the way that this team has continued to escalate as each game goes on?
Well, and you go back to the San Jose, and we go down, 16 to nothing there in the first few minutes of the game, and then they just kept telling them keep playing, and now we were able to bounce back that one. Then we come home with Stony Brook, and they played us really tough. And it was, it's two games where you didn't see the big numbers. And everybody's like, oh, what's wrong? But it isn't. It's going to be just a steady improvement each and every game. And that's what you want to see, where guys get better. And I know sometimes we want more and we expect more. But when you're playing as a team the way we're playing, and it's not like one phase is outshining the other phase. It's like you got a defense that's playing very well, which we haven't seen happen. So everybody's really excited about the defense. And now, they're looking at the offense. It's nothing wrong. You look at out there the other night, we had we had 4 drops. 4 touchdowns that were, should have been touchdowns that, drop balls. And if you get those 4 scores, it's a runner. It's really a runaway. But it's in the kicking game. I talk about our kicking game, and I got guys in the kicking game that is playing very well, and guys in the kicking game just kind of setting the tone. Because if you look at the hits that Sands is making, I say to them, I said, I have Ferg on one side, and I said, Ferg is probably the slowest guy to that side because I go Ferg, Fullwood, and McGee, 1, 2, 3 to my left. And I said, Ferg is probably the slowest one, but he's always the fastest guy down the field. So I said, your challenge is to go outrun Ferg. And then so to the backside, I have Sands and guys that are, Kirsten was another one that really are, Danny Thomas, guys that they're really buying into the special teams. So I go from there to punt team, and you see the same thing with your outside gunners, where you see Ferg and see Sands still running down and putting pressure on the returners. So when you get that in the kicking game, it kind of spills into your offense and defense, because I talk to them all the time about, look, guys, you won't ever play on offense or defense until you become a good special teams player. So if you think special teams is the place for you to rest, then I'll rest you on defense. So you won't have to worry about going out there and getting your plays. But the guys are really buying into it, and Emilio and punter, Hernandez punting the ball very well. And Dietz doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he's doing a very great job, really good job of snapping the ball.
You had, you're scoring 40 points a game and everything, it looks pretty good. But yet you got 6 turnovers in that game. One time against South Five, didn't get anything. A couple other times you got field goals. Are you concerned about being better able to take advantage of those kind of opportunities?
Because I think what we did have the ball inside the 20 or 30, we gave it inside the 30, and you got to take advantage of those opportunities, and you want to turn them into touchdowns. And I know what a couple of them we did drop, but it's we got to get those scores when we have those opportunities to go score, and it need to be 7 points instead of 3. But we're getting the 3, which is good. If we had to banged out the 3, then it'd be really bad for us.
Coach, you lead the nation in interceptions right now. Is that the front four pressure seems to be a little bit more focused? Right? Are these interceptions being forced more by the pressure
It's a combination of both because you're watching really good coverage in the back end, but you're getting a really good rush up front. And, like when you see guys go like Reeves is really right. Love had a really big day. And then inside with Sanat and Hector, both of those guys, and I can bring Bronson in. Even when you bring the young guys in, they're applying the pressure. But we're rotating a lot of guys, so that's allowing us to stay fresh up front. So we're fresh up front, then it gives us that opportunity to put the pressure. And then the back end, they're either tipping balls or knocking balls away, but they're just playing so hard. And they're doing a really good job of studying the game. So sometimes by teams' alignments, what route is coming. So, they're communicating in the back end. They say, okay, here's a Hank route. He's coming. Here comes a Hank. Here comes a Hank. Or here comes Dig in the middle. They're pointing it out. And so now when you get pressure on a quarterback, he's letting it float out there, and guys are getting a chance to go intercept it.
When you got defense like you've been able to play and use quite a few guys early on, how important is that going to be? Because when you start playing some of these good teams with these hurry-up offenses, and most coaches like to keep fresh people in there, but you can't afford a drop-off either. How important is this playing time for some of these young kids?
It's been really good that we've been able to play the numbers we play, and because you look at us up front, you're getting guys in the game, and they're playing early snaps. Really, I think we try to get a 6 to 8 play rotation with our guys up front, so that we can try to keep, like Kegger and Pinckney are getting a lot of reps, and Bronson, they're getting a lot of reps. And then on the outside, you see Brown a lot. But the guys are coming on for us. Black is coming on. Those guys are doing things for us that where they can make plays. Livingstone, they're making plays for us. So when you can get the rotation that you need up front, and you keep those guys fresh, then you have a chance to apply the pressure. So when people do try to go hurry up, at least you can come in where it may be a little drop off, but it's not going to be a significant drop off where you walk and say, "Oh God, look who's going in the game." You feel comfortable with the guys that are going in.
Having coached at Texas and against our 5 team, I've been told a lot of times that the biggest difference between Power 5 teams and Group of 5 teams is in the offensive and defensive lines. That when Florida and Texas and teams like that rotate guys, there's virtually no drop off. But mostly in Power 5 teams, there can be a big drop off. Do you think that's true? That is the biggest? That's not skill position play?
Well, where we've been very fortunate, and where Willie did a great job is recruiting up front with the lineman, with the defensive line especially. I mean, you look at those guys up there, and you don't see a big drop off when we rotate. And in the offensive line, what you try to do is find like 7 to 8 guys. You got your starting 5, and try to find you 3 more guys that are solid in case something does where, you can move a guy here and plug this guy and move guys around. But, it's in the skill positions, you're going to always find skill. Those guys, you're going to always find a guy who's fast and quick, and guys who are explosive, and guys can make plays. But you just always, and that's where I've always felt like you had to do was build your front people first. If I had 25 scholarships and I could sign 25 linemen, I probably would. And I tell the skill guys we'll get them another time, but we would get big guys. That's how you win. You got to be physical at the point of attack, and you got to be able to stop people, and you got to move people off the ball and control the line of scrimmage, and you do that with big guys.
Coach, there's been a lot of controversy in football this weekend, mostly on the NFL, and things like that. Can you talk about what you've shared with your team and what they've shared with you about what they saw this weekend?
Well, it's more about us just working together and coming together and supporting one another. And there's times when there's issues, and there's issues all across the country. But it's that there's issues that you can come to a common answer if everybody's willing to work together. And a lot of times, everybody got to have their opinion. I may not believe what you believe, but it's not that you're wrong. It's like we sit down and have a conversation and able to express our beliefs, then we can come to an understanding of why you feel the way you feel and the reason why I feel the way I feel. But even with our team, I always tell them, like, if you're willing to make a stand about something, make sure that you've researched it and you have a reason for making that stand.
Have any of your players expressed anything? Have you talked to your players about that NFL stuff or anything?
No, I haven't said much about it, and they haven't themselves. But they see it happening around them, and it's always going to be conversations because they see it. But like I told them, it's all about us. We have a team, and if ever an issue that ever comes up within this program, that we'll sit down and we'll talk about it as a football team.
Regardless of who's right or wrong on that, it's not what it's about. Just to avoid the distraction, are you just kind of glad that you guys stay in the tunnel during the national anthem?
Well, you know what, Joey, you have to respect the American flag. You have to respect this country. We live in a great country, and we have our individual rights. We have a freedom of speech, and we can do and say as we please. And like I said, some people may not agree with it, but I could sometimes like I was sitting there listening to that, then my mind goes to wonder like at Puerto Rico. And say, look what's happening there in that country, and they're talking about the number of days that they're not going to have power. I mean, let's go help those people. Look what happened, even in this state. Look what happened in Texas, and it's all about where we try to help other people also. And sometimes there's battles to fight, but let's take care of what's happening around us instead of kind of not thinking that's not an issue when it is an issue.
What would you do if one of your players expressed to you a desire to make a statement before a game like that? How would you handle that?
Well, we would have a conversation, and we would talk about the reason why are you making this statement, why you feel the way you feel, and because you have to have that conversation with the player, because you don't want him to just stand up and just all of a sudden feel like, hey, this is what I need to do.
Hindsight's obviously 20/20, but when you were first and goal down there and weren't able to punch it in, you kind of said, I wish we'd just given it to Quentin and let him do his thing?
Yeah, because a lot of times when he has the ball in his hands, he's gonna make some things happen. But even on that, I think that we got hit, and either the back could have probably bounced the ball outside because I think they overloaded us, and they did. They pinched everybody down inside. I thought we had the outside corner, and it's a lot of things. Once you start thinking about it, you're just like, God, why didn't we do this or that? But we're going to get in that position again, and we have to execute next time that happens.
Charlie, when the season started, a lot of talk about the defense wanting to get a lot better to hold up its end of the bargain. Obviously, it's done that. Have you seen, with each week, some identity, some confidence building within this group where they can get even better because of the confidence that's growing up within them?
It really has, and that's because it is confidence, and it's about competing. And when you compete and you play with confidence, then you're going to be able to make some exciting things happen. And you look at us on defense. I think that what has really happened with this defense is they don't just look to one guy as their guy. Like there's not, one guy say, hey, listen, we got to make sure that, this guy is the reason why we're playing as well as we're playing. Because, you look at those, like you have three seniors up front with Love, Hector, and Sanat, and all three of those guys are playing pretty good football. The first game it was Hector had the first two games. He played unbelievable, and then you look at this last game, you get Love to play, and Augie has been very steady. But then you look at what Sawtell is doing. I mean, my man, he comes out of nowhere. Nobody ever knew. So I told him the other day, I said, I guess people know who your name is now. Nobody ever knew who you were. They say, who's that number 54 for y'all? And then you look at the back end. Nick is playing unbelievable. I look over at Hoggins, and Hoggins got a cast all the way up his arm, and he's out there swinging it. So I have a stunt where I bring the corner. And I said, listen, I said, Abraham, you run the stunt. Do not let him run the stunt. Because I said, when he runs it, he want to try to fake a guy out instead of just going. And so I said, Abraham, he said, Coach, what, you don't have no confidence, faith in me, no confidence? I said, I have a lot of confidence in you, but I don't have confidence in you running that stunt. but it's just that, you got a bunch of guys that respect one another, and it's almost like because they had the genuine respect for one another, they're playing the way they're playing.
It seems like Hoggins has, outside of Matthew Wilkins, he may be the most improved corner, tackling-wise, coverage-wise. Has that shown up on tape?
He is, but I tell you what, to see Mazzy where he is now, it's amazing because I mean he wasn't even on a radar. You know, I can remember when I got here, I was looking for him. Then I see this, and he comes in, and we have a conversation. We had a really good conversation, and I said to him, "Listen, I want to see you. You got to start helping this football team, and you got to make a change here, or if you don't want to be here, you act like you don't want to be here, then you need to tell me what you want to do." But to see him, and it has started during preseason camp, and he always went against Valdez, and it just like his confidence just grew, and each day it just got, and now, I mean, to watch him play, it's really fun to watch him have the year that he's having right now, and I'm so happy for him because of what he's been through. And you're right, and then to see Ronnie does really good. The one game I think we were playing, we playing Stony Brook. And they threw a ball down our sideline. He's on our sideline, so the ball went for like 12 yards. And you remember he comes up and he tackles the guy, then he jumps up and he pounds his chest. I said, look, don't pound your chest after the guy gets a 12-yard gain, all right? If that had been a 2-yard loss, I said, yeah, you pound your chest. I said, he said, I know it, Coach, but I just made that tackle and it made me feel good that I could wrap up and make that tackle. I said, that's good. But it's 12 yards down the field. But no, just to see those two guys and to see Nick play and Abraham, we judge. I mean, he's just been steady back there. And just you know, you watch him play, and just, you know, the communication with him and getting everybody lined up, it's been something.
Pro Football Focus, their college site had Matthew as one of the best coverage corners. I think he had a 0.0 passing efficiency against going into the Temple game. Do you guys use the advanced stats? Do you use those stats, or do you guys just keep it?
No, I don't like to talk to guys. I don't like to talk to players about stats because I just don't want them to get caught up in it. Because then sometimes when you're reading your stats, you forget, you know, how to play the next play. And because I think enough people is telling them about it, but it hasn't really bothered them because the way they come to work each and every day, you would never know that, you know, he has a 0.00 because he comes out there and he works. You know, he turned his ankle a little in the game the other night, and so we go out on Sunday, and he's out there, and he said, I'm practicing, I'm going. And I said, well, I had you on the injury report. And he's like, no, I'm going, Coach, I'm going, I'm good. I said, all right, then, we'll go at it. I said, just, you know, let's be smart about what we're doing. But I try to stay away from stats with our players.